call it a hunch, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers is coming back to the Packers. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to another episode of Packcast, a podcast where you don't have to be Packers fan, but it sure does help. I'm your host, Tom. Oh, Mark Murphy, I love you. Grossi, and today, I wasn't going to make a news video because we are still, and I emphasize the still, waiting on Aaron Rodgers to make a decision. However, this is kind of some breaking news besides the Bears just trading the first overall pick to the Panthers. That just broke. But the other news has to deal with the Green Bay Packers, and that is about President and CEO of the Packers, Mark Murphy. As Mark Murphy was interviewed just a little while ago and had some choice words about Aaron Rodgers' future. Didn't want to get into the details, but actually wound up saying a lot that he probably did not intend to, and I'll just let this clip speak for itself.
Scenario where Aaron is still the starting quarterback of the Packers next season?
Yeah. I mean, if things don't work out the way we would want them, yeah, he's obviously a great player and four-time MVP but I think it's trying to find what he wants and what we want, and hopefully we can find a win-win situation.
So that's clip number one, asking if Aaron Rodgers could be the starter next year for the Green Bay Packers, and his response saying, yeah, if things don't work out the way that we want them to. Which is not an ideal thing to say in terms of, one, leverage unless a deal is already done with the Jets, and or two, it kind of is just airing things out at this point because it seems that the Packers are dead set on wanting to move on from Aaron Rodgers. There had been rumblings about it. Aaron Rodgers had talked about that exact thing with Pat McAfee, saying they're already having conversations, which is a little weird, which it wasn't. And then was also saying, I don't know where the team is at. And again, compare this with Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur saying that they want Aaron Rodgers back earlier this year in January. But as I said a couple weeks ago, Goody's tone kind of switched at the combine and kind of saying, well, if it works out. And so now this just seems to put the final nail in the coffin. And in this additional clip, Mark Murphy was talking about Brett Favre and then went to talk about Aaron Rodgers and his career in Green Bay.
Happens in our game. Very few players play for only one team. And obviously Brett had a great career, Aaron had a great career here, and regardless of what happens, Aaron will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, he'll be in our Hall of Fame, and we'll bring him back, he'll retire his number. And
so they're already basically kicking Rodgers out the door before the body is even cold. And I think at this point, there's one of two things, maybe even three things. One, I can't imagine too many people in Lambeau are too thrilled to hear what Mark Murphy is saying, unless, and this is the number two, the deal is already done, in which it's just like, hey, Rodgers, are you going to accept it or not? And I think just with these comments and the way that things have gone, it just doesn't seem likely that Rodgers is going to come back. In addition, Murphy even said they allowed the Jets to talk to Aaron because they were trying to find a win-win situation of something Aaron wanted and something that would work out for the Packers. So it definitely seems the Packers, they want the one thing, which means moving on to Jordan Love and getting some kind of trade compensation for Aaron Rodgers. So at this point, I think there's only two options left. There's retirement for Aaron Rodgers because he still hasn't indicated what he wants to do, and or being traded to the Jets. Now, I hope that the deal is already locked into place because if not, this could damage some potential trade leverage because the Packers are obviously trying to offload Aaron Rodgers, and so that's problematic. In addition, the Packers also are still hoping to have some kind of deal done by March 15th, the start of free agency. Will that happen? One could only hope. So within the next few days, we should get something concrete. But if I was a gambling man, just listening to these quotes, listening to the way things have been talked about, it seems that he's going to the Jets, and it doesn't look like Green Bay is going to be home for 12 anymore, which there's lots of feelings, and we'll talk about that once word becomes official, but brace yourselves, because it seems that Aaron Rodgers is no longer going to be the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. But Let me know what you think down in the comments below. You can always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or Tom Grossi Comedy, all social media, see down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout and thank you to all the patrons over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy and the YouTube members. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. And as always, go Pack Go.